this for me. Just saying, in case he's listening from now on. Because there we go. Yep, you can hear me. That's what I care about. Alrighty, so what's going on? We have 207 homes that we listed. Let's see, let me put this thing down first. We have 207 homes that we listed. Always goes backwards. There we go. 207 homes just listed, and that was Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I added those all together. And Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we put 193 under contract. No closings because the title companies were closed Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And we have 22 days of inventory. Oh my goodness. That's a first. That's a first. Oh, that's fantastic. I went back into my history, and would you believe that last July we had, and it's probably a little fuzzy for you, but we had 5,293 homes in inventory. Is that amazing? Oh my gosh. And good morning, Frank. Good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me today. So we had 5,239 single homes available, and now we have half that, just about. And last year we had 37 days of inventory on July the 6th, 2020, and now we have 22 days of inventory. And of course, the average price last year was $337. The median was pretty much about $350. The median and average are different. Back then I was doing a little bit of both, but I don't do average anymore. I just do the median because that's what people relate to. So no use to clutter up with more information than we need, right? Information overload. Interesting. So we have listed 72 single family homes under 400,000. We had 884 single family homes total active. But here's the thing. Since, let me get rid of this one now. Sorry. Oh, please. See if I can, does it do it right? Yeah, it did it. Okay, and we have 593 that we listed since July 1st. Now that's condos, single family, and townhomes. So that's pretty good. We listed almost 600 homes in 6 days. So if we can just keep it up there above the 100 mark, we'll be doing really well. And we'll continue to increase our days of inventory. And probably we might even get to a month of inventory. We'll see. So what we were saying is why? Why is the inventory increasing? Well, number one, there was a lot of people didn't want to list their homes because of COVID. They did not want people in their homes. The vaccination wasn't available earlier in the year. So now things have changed, and COVID, I think, is responsible for many of these listings. Many people now feel very comfortable with getting people in their homes. And the other thing I'll tell you is in my community, I see a lot of the dumpsters, a lot of people remodeling, fixing up their homes. And so I also, when I talk to some of these people, they tell me that contractors right now are hard to come by. So I think that, people are now getting their homes remodeled because I see the dumpsters are gone, and a lot of them are going to list their homes in most cases. So a lot of factors going on there. But the number one thing is that COVID has subsided in our news media. There's a vaccine now. Restaurants are open again. The casinos are open again, and people feel comfortable letting people into their homes. I noticed some homes that were just listed last week, and the sellers don't require masks like they did months ago. In the beginning of the year, when we saw the going to listing appointments with masks on and social distancing with the 6 feet and everything. You don't see that now. It's kind of like going away quickly. So that's a good thing. And we said in the beginning of, or last year actually, Jeremy Aguero predicted that we would do the check mark, and he was almost right on, because here it is July and we are open for business. So, and Vegas is back. I am anxious. I didn't read the paper today, Frank, so I don't know if what the numbers were, if they've done the numbers yet on how many visitors we had over the weekend, but I'm anxious to see it because they predicted that we would have more people here in 2021 than we had in 2019. So that would be fantastic. And I'm sure the resorts world, it's hard for me to say, is partly responsible for that. Well, one of the things that, if you haven't heard me last week, the median jumped up to 398,000 is now the median priced home. So if you are talking to sellers, their value has increased tremendously. I mean, if they bought a home in 2015 at the median price back then, which was $217,000, you know, they've got $181,000 in equity, and that's just from price to price, not including the principal that they have put that has decreased. So their equity gain is really more than this. But that would be a much more complicated conversation, which you can have with your when you're calling those people. You know, do you know that, you know, your home has increased since you bought it in 2015 from 217,000 to 398,000? That's 181,000. And are you has the COVID situation done anything to make you look at your home differently, or do you want to upsize, downsize? Ask those relevant questions and see where they are. And if they want to, at this time when interest rates are low, take that equity, put it down on a newer home, perhaps a smaller home, a bigger home, a home in a different location, and apply that to their new home at a low interest rate. And probably, if they haven't refinanced, they will end up with a smaller payment, but a newer home, a bigger home, or a home in a different location, and maybe put some money in the bank. You have to be able to spiel that out, just like I did, and with confidence. And even though the days of inventory are increasing, the market really is not going to slow down. We are still churning with putting homes under contract and closing. So I think July is going to be a very interesting month as we go through the stats and see the trend where we're headed. Hopefully, it seems, well, I won't say hopefully. I just believe, I really believe, this is not a hope, it's a belief. I believe you all have learned that to qualify your buyers better, qualify your sellers better, and make this home experience smoother and less stressful for everybody. We don't see as many multiple offers, and you know that's stressful for buyers and sellers, and for you all, right? I mean, for the listing agent and the selling agent. So I think that times are changing, and our market is going to get smoother. So it's time to. The disruption, I think, is over. And I think that, you know, we can kind of look at this market and go out there and get more listings. And if you use this chart and show people what's going on, I think this will really help. And then let's put this down for a second. Come on, cursor. Love it when it works. Did I have that chart? Yeah, here we go. This is something else, you know, and I took this to a homeowner the other day, and because they were saying, oh, there's going to be a bubble, you know, I'm going to sell my home and then I'm going to buy another home, and what's going to happen? And I said, well, here's what the experts say. This is what the chief economists are saying. And there's a lot of information on this document here. A lot of information, and it tells people why there's not going to be a bubble. And it's the down payments are up, there's fixed rate mortgages, and there's tighter lending restrictions, and those keep our market solid, keep their investment intact. Remember, and just roll this off your tongue, that real estate is the best the best hedge against inflation. And we have inflation. You hear it on the news all the time, or you hear it, read it in the newspaper, or you hear other people talking about it. Yes, things cost more money now. I mean, John and I were looking at RVs, and for heaven's sakes, they've gone up 15% since we started looking at them, because people wanted to get out. So they started traveling, and they didn't want to go outside the country. So they started traveling within our country. So that's all good. That's all good. It's all good for our economy in the long run anyway, except they're pricing us out of the market a little bit, but that's okay. It is what it is. Today, tip. Okay, we have a tip. I have two things. I want to give you a tip, and then I want you to listen to something that Tom Ferry has to say. So there's 138 million homes in the United States, homeowners, okay? 138 million. Do you realize that 17% or 21 million of those people are investors, investment properties? Now, I know a lot of those properties are the more commercialized companies, some of the hedge funds and what have you own a tremendous amount, but there's a tremendous amount out there that don't. And you can you reach out to these people, and you can let them know, and I'm going to bring this up again, how much equity they have in that investment. And it might be time to sell that investment and put that money in a different location, buy another home that's perhaps newer with less maintenance. I always think that's a really good detail to tell them, because being a property management company, we see the older homes have much less cash flow. So if they have less cash flow, and you can show them how they could get more cash flow because they'd have less maintenance, right? Then they might be inclined to sell that investment and buy another investment that's newer with less deferred maintenance, and maybe more desirable. Maybe the rents would be higher. So there's a story here to tell, and you can do this. And this is my tip of the day, to get more listings and to pick up a buyer as well. Because investors like investing in real estate. They like the cash flow. They like the fact how solid it is. And then when you top it off with a cherry here of all the equity they've gained over the years, and you show them that we're not in a bubble, so they should buy right now. And it's a good story to tell. And you can tell your investors that, why not consider selling your home? And I think if you do your research, if you get their phone number, if you text them, if you call them, if you email them, if you contact these people, and you know how easy they are to get from your title companies or Remind even, I'm learning Remind. It's a fantastic system to use. Just get the investors. I mean, it's easy to get them. And I really, if I were doing this, I think that I would be inclined to do my own survey, and I would maybe call 5 out of state and then call 5 in Nevada, and see maybe 10 and 10, right, to get really a good solid read on what the mindset is of out of state people versus in state people. And once I did that, and I would say, okay, group A is more responsive than group B, and then just go after group A. Do your own homework though, because and you know what, everybody has a different pitch. Everybody tells the story a different way. So you might appeal more to the California investors than to the local investors, or vice versa. So a lot of it has to do with you. And I think everybody has to do their own research and figure out what works best for them. Okay, what works best for you? Is it talking to out-of-state investors or talking to local investors? So when you look at these numbers, they're phenomenal. They're just phenomenal, 21 million. And I would be, I think that I can get the number of how many are in Vegas. And I know it's probably a healthy amount. So probably over. Let's see. If you just do the math, we have 2 million. Well, let's see. Let's say 140. Let's see. I would say that here we probably have over 200,000 easy, but I'm going to get that number for you and be accurate because I didn't do that today. Ran out of daylight. Okay, so that's a tip. That's where to get sellers, and you have to have your pitch down, your story down, and do a little research. If you're going to call 10 people, know their rent, know what their rent is that they're getting on the property, and know what their equity possibly is, because you can find out when they bought the home, you can find out what the rent it was then, what it is now, and you can find out if they move to a different location and take that money, how much more money they can make with a new one. So with a newer home or a different location or something that would give them a good reason to sell that one and buy a different one. You see, you've got to do your research. And there's a lot of little things on the MLS. You can find out when the lease is up, because you can look at the property address, go in the MLS and see when they leased the home, and probably it was a 1-year lease. So maybe do, again, this is research, and find out, okay, in 60 days, this lease is going to be up. So I'm going to find out if this investor might be interested in selling his home when the lease is up. There you go. Tip of the day. Okay. I want you to hear, I love what Tom Ferry did. We did a little bit of this the other, this is what people think success is, right? Bam, you get into business for yourself, you're an entrepreneur, and you make it happen quickly. No, no, doesn't happen that way. Maybe sometimes. Nothing is ever always, is it? So what it really looks like, though, is, winding your way through what it takes to be successful. And a lot of it is, like I just related to you a little bit, a lot of it is finding your voice, finding your own style, and branding yourself, and making you work. You are unique. There is nobody. There is not another Frank. There's not another Karen. There's not another Larissa. Everybody's different. And, that's why we all don't have the same friends, right? Because we're all different. So just think of that. And success is finding your way and not getting discouraged. And if you do get discouraged, get over it, right? And don't complain, because nobody's listening. All those things that Gary Vaynerchuk has taught me over the years that I find to be true. And Tom Ferry has a stepmother who helped him really learn about money. His father, Mike Ferry, right, is his father. His Mike Ferry he was a very Pollyanna, top of the heap kind of guy, and he went out and bought the Rolex watch and bought the Mercedes, and then had to figure out how he was going to pay for it. But with Mike Ferry, that motivated him. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that. And Tom Ferry learned a different scenario, because Tom Ferry watched his father with his ups and downs, and Tom Ferry's stepmother helped him think through things from a more income and expense way of thinking, like running a business, right? Building the business and running the business, very important. And we have a special class this week called Be the CEO of Your Life. And we get into some of these things. And I want to show you this little thing that Tom Ferry did yesterday. You might have seen it. If you did, that's good. If you didn't, this is it. And then I hope to see you all in class on Thursday, 10 to 1. Go to bee.vegas and sign up. And it is a great class. Jimmy and I collaborated on this class. I teach half of it. He teaches half of it. And we talk about, how you build a successful business, and the very basic steps from, how many bank accounts you should be setting up, what you should be putting in those bank accounts, and how you should start from day one, or whatever day it is in your business, to do things and be the CEO of your life. And that is on bee.vegas. It is on Thursday from 10 to 1, July the 8th at 8400 West Sahara. We still have room in the class. And you can also Zoom. So no reason not to take it. 3 hours of just some good coaching and a roadmap to creating your business structure, which is very important, and then some things how to build it. Okay, let's listen to what Tom Ferry says, and then I'll say goodbye for today. And hopefully you all have a wonderful day. I'm looking forward to it, that's for sure. And here we go, and I hope it plays. Okay.
For as long as I remember, my stepmom Pooh would say to me, everything worthwhile takes 10 years. Everybody says to me the same thing over and over again. Hey, what is the fastest way to success? How do I go from here to here? And you know what I've learned in 31 years? That it never happens fast. Success never starts here and goes to here. It actually looks a whole lot more like this. And if you're like myself, you're an entrepreneur, you're a salesperson, you're a spouse, you work out every aspect of your life. You create a plan, you create an expectation, and then you live in the insanity of the real world, reminding yourself over and over again, what is it am I committed to? What do I have to do to get there? How am I going to navigate and pivot to ultimately achieve what I want? I go back for as long as I can remember. My stepmom Pooh would say to me, everything worthwhile takes 10 years. Think about that. Everything worthwhile takes 10 years. And she'd say to me, you're going to create your plans and you're going to create your goals and you're going to be ambitious and you're going to work and you're going to go after it every single day. But understand, it never looks like this. It always looks like that. And if you just understand that going into it, you'll actually have a lot more peace in the chaos. Makes sense?
That's it for today, everybody. I love you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. And we're going to explore another tip on getting